Hi friends, it's Lisa Hetrick, illustrator for Gina K Designs, and I'm so grateful you could join me today. Hello! I have a super fun card today. Stamping bouquets and floral explosions, and it's going to be like this card. So this is my card inspiration for today, but we're going to be changing up some of the colors and talking about color palettes and talking about different techniques that we can do to create floral explosions on your card. Okay, so I'm using my Today and Always stamp set with Gina K Designs, and I'm also going to be using several of the elements that are in here, and I'm going to be using that big ranunculus flower to kind of create that layered look. And I've got this gorgeous little stamp set from Gina K Designs and it has the sentiment that says, "Our sweet friendship refreshes my soul." And I really love that sentiment. So I'm going to use it and going to have some fun. So here's the color palette that we're going to be working with. And I'm using Gina K Designs inks. So I have Innocent Pink, Dusty Rose, Lemon Drop, Wild Dandelion, Sweet Mango. And I also have Sea Glass, Tranquil Teal, and Lovely Lavender. So there's going to be a combination of colors. These are the colors that I want to start out with, but you know how it goes. I might get going and I might change my mind along the way. Okay, so the other supplies that I'm going to be using. Oopsie, I forgot to put Dusty Rose in here. So I just kind of stepped out to grab it real quick so that I had all the colors that I wanted to use for this very springy flower bouquet. Okay, so I am using Gina K Designs cardstock. So I have a piece of Tranquil Teal here, cut to just a strip that I'm going to be using for the sentiment. And I'm also using the Gina K Designs white cardstock. So I have a piece here that's going to be for some of the cutout pieces. And then I also have my card base that's cut to fit this piece of black onyx cardstock at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, the A2 size card. So it's 4 by 5 1/4, the white piece that we're predominantly going to be working on. I'm going to go ahead and grab the wild dandelion here, and I have the little center portion from the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that 3 times with the wild dandelion on this piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to go ahead and trim those out, and that's going to be some embellishments that I'm going to be using for the final card. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that first and just set them aside so that we can get started on the centerpiece of the bouquet. And I'm going to get started with the ranunculus piece in the center, and starting in the center of the cardstock with some Tranquil Teal, and going to build the bouquet out from there. So I went ahead and inked up the ranunculus stamp with the Tranquil Teal and just stamped that right down in the center. And I'm going to go ahead and put a mask over top of that piece so that I can stamp to the sides of it. And I also want to do the ranunculus on the side, but I want them to look like a whole cohesive piece. So I am just kind of fidgeting here a little bit with the mask, getting it lined up, and I'm not really concerned about perfection, but I do want the 2 pieces that I'm going to stamp alongside in the sea glass to just kind of nest up against it so I can get that nice center portion of the design and ground it with that look and feel, and have them look like the 2 sea glass pieces are going to the back and the Tranquil Teal ranunculus is coming to the front. So here's the big reveal, and boom, 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 boom. I love that. And I'm going to keep my mask. Just going to attach it to the back of my stamp set, and it's good for many, 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 many uses until I tear it or lose it or it sticks to something else, you know, like your pants or something like that, which is fun when you head out for the day and you see a mask sticking to the back of your pants. And I know you're laughing now because it's happened to all of us. Anyway, okay, so now I'm just going ahead and take the fern piece from the stamp set, from the Today and Always stamp set, and I'm inking it up with the Sweet Mango, and now I'm going to start working this design. I've got those 3 ranunculus stamps right in the center, and I want to create a symmetrical kind of bouquet. for this piece. So I'm going to work in threes, and I'm grabbing different bits and pieces from the Today and Always stamp set and kind of playing around with the color palettes that I have here to create this cohesive stamped bouquet look. So I've got those two ferns there kind of creating this nice little angle, and now I want to ground that again with the smaller fern, and I'm using the sea glass and nesting that up to each other and creating that kind of movement from the bottom to the top. And I'm really digging it. So now here comes all the geeky design chatter, because I'm building this floral bouquet and just working in threes with my stamped images to kind of create this cohesive look. So I went ahead and used the fern again, and I've got this movement from the bottom to the top, and I used lemon drop to create that little cluster of three with the ferns at the bottom and at the top. And now I'm going to go ahead and start doing it again with the other element from the stamp set that's kind of a cluster of eucalyptus leaves. But this time I'm going to go ahead and mask off the ranunculus that I have on the right so that I can stamp over it and give that illusion of that stamped image coming to that's behind the flower instead of in front of the flower or nested in between the flowers. So you really get that look and feel that it's really kind of this exploding bouquet where there's elements behind the ranunculus flowers and elements in front of the ranunculus flowers. And this is a really great way to create depth in your designs without creating height and weight to your project. And I'm really love that. And if you have watched many of my videos, I tend to do a lot of one layer like looks and make the stamps the star of the show. And this is the great way to do that, by masking off different elements. So now again, I'm coming in with the Dusty Rose, and I'm using the little rosebud element, and I'm working in threes, and I'm trying to create this whole visual triad around these ranunculus flowers, again, to create that look and feel of movement, and like if you were at the florist and they were creating a bouquet, there would be a rhythm to the look and feel of how they would put the bouquet together. So we're doing that today on paper with stamps and ink. Okay, so I went ahead in with the leaf element and used the wild dandelion to help create that look and feel coming from the bottom up to the top and just kind of filling out this bouquet, again working in threes and laying things out. So I went ahead and laid the embellishments that we created at the beginning of the project out, and they're not glued down yet. They're just laying there for a look-see. So between the Passionate Pink and the Dusty Rose, no, the Innocent Pink, excuse me, and the Dusty Rose, I'm going to work this larger rosebud in threes around the pieces that I've got going over here on the left. So we get, again, that triad of movement with a different element and different colors, and we're starting to see this exploding bouquet come together. Okay, so now I want to add another layer to the mix just to help ground these flowers a little bit. So I went ahead and pulled the wonky polka dot stamp from the Today and Always stamp set, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with some Sandy Beach, which is a really nice paler tan cream color that is perfect for a lot of things, but it's perfect for this project because it's going to help add an extra layer of a neutral color with a pattern within this floral bouquet and not really detract from the look and feel of the bouquet itself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm laying it down in these two corners. So I'm going to go ahead with the upper left, actually the lower right, and I'm going to just let those colors layer and blend and mix together. And I'm kind of digging the way the Sandy Beach and the Wild Dandelion kind of come together. And I like the way it touches the sweet mango too. It adds an extra layer of dimension that's whimsical. And I'm adding it to the top here, and I'm going to go ahead and add it again over in that lower right hand corner, just to add a little extra bit of whimsy and texture and dimension, and just kind of bring this whole look and feel together before we add the sentiment. So now it's time to go ahead. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I love it. I love the way the sandy beach is layering over top of the other colors, and it kind of creates a new color too, which is the beautiful, beautiful thing about the Gina K inks. And I talk about it all the time. If you layer those colors together, you can create another color. Anywho, I've got some Gina K Designs Connect glue here, and I'm just putting a little dot on the bottom, the back of these embellishment pieces that we made in the very beginning, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay them down. And this doesn't add a lot of extra height or weight to the card, but it does add an extra layer of texture and dimension that's super fun, super fun. And again, I'm laying it in that triad here that's opposite of what I did with the rosettes. So we get a little bit of rhythm here with the circle-like elements that are going on. Okay, enough little geeky design chatter there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Tranquil Teal, and I've got the sentiment, our sweet friendship refreshes my soul, and I'm going to do a tone-on-tone with the Tranquil Teal ink on the Tranquil Teal piece of cardstock. And I've just got a little strip here. I'm going to go ahead and ink it up and stamp it out on that strip, and then kind of take a look and see if it's long enough or if I really like the way that looks on the card. And I'm just eyeballing this. If you really want it to be like super lined up, or you feel you could always get a ruler and draw a little line, or you could use a Misty or a stamp tool. I'm going rogue here because it's just how I do. And I could always flip it over and do it again if I need to. So I'm digging the way this looks. It's nice. It's kind of centered. I like the way it looks. But now what I want to do is it does go the whole length of the card. And I'm just going to trim off the edges here and kind of cut a little triangle into the edge of the piece here to create like a little flag. Now, you could do this with a die cut. You could do this with a lot of different things. But this is a really quick and fast and easy way to do it with some scissors. And it's a great way to just create an Insta flag. So I'm going to go ahead and put some foam dots on the back of it, and this is really the only height that I'm adding to the card, and just adding a little bit, just popping that sentiment up a little bit, up and away from the ranunculus flowers, and it is just so sweet. I love the colors. It also helps ground some of the look to the center of this floral explosion. And I just love it. Okay, so I just added a little bit of glue to the back of the whole card piece, opened up my card. I like to open up my A2 size cards, and especially if I'm eyeballing putting the design down on the card. And I just kind of did that. And the reason why I like to use the glue is because I have a little bit of time to kind of shimmy it around and move it. So I am digging this card, and I know exactly who I'm going to give it to, which friend in my life I'm going to give it to. I really enjoyed creating this floral explosion. It was super simple. The colors are just so compatible with each other. I hope you enjoyed today's card tutorial. Thanks so much for joining me. Please consider sharing the joy by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.